More than 3 years after a shocking classroom shooting at Richneck Elementary in Newport News, an historic trial is about to start. Tomorrow, former assistant principal Ebony Parker will face a jury over her actions that day. Parker is accused of ignoring warning signs before a 6-year-old shot his teacher. 13 News Now is looking at how we got from that day all the way here to the start of this trial. Our coverage starts with Patrick Gray, who joins us here in studio and takes us back to the day of the shooting. Patrick.
Madison, police say on the morning of January 6, 2023, a 6-year-old student arrived at Richneck Elementary School in Newport News with a loaded handgun in his backpack. By late morning, warning signs started emerging. Abby Zwerner's attorney, Diane Toscano, said that Zwerner had noticed the student was off and was in a violent mood, threatening another student earlier that day. Soon after, a reading specialist, Amy Kovac, reported that students said the boy had a gun in his backpack. Kovac alerted Vice Principal Ebony Parker and even searched the backpack herself. She found nothing, but texts unveiled in court show Zwerner believed the student had already removed something from the bag before recess, and Kovac warned the gun could be in the child's pocket. Attorneys say at no point did Parker call police, search the student, or even leave her office, despite 3 warnings from teachers. Meanwhile, other students later said the boy showed them the gun at recess and threatened to shoot if they told anyone. And just before 2 p.m., back in the classroom, the student stood up and fired 1 shot. The bullet went through Zwerner's hand and into her chest.
Obvious, I thought I was dying. I thought I had died. I thought I was either on my way to heaven or in heaven.
She suffered life-threatening injuries and was taken to the hospital where she spent weeks recovering. What started as warning signs that morning ended in a shooting that would spark national attention and several legal battles. The student's mother was convicted of child neglect in state court and lying on a gun application at the federal level in 2023. A jury found Parker liable in a civil case in 2025. Now, Parker is set to go on trial tomorrow, accused of child neglect for her alleged lack of action after warnings. Patrick Gray, 13 News Now.
All right, thank you so much, Patrick. And from there, on January 25th of 2023, massive leadership changes hit Newport News schools following the Richneck Elementary shooting. Assistant Principal Dr. Ebony Parker officially resigned. Meanwhile, the school board voted 5-1 to fire Superintendent Dr. George Parker, appointing Michelle Mitchell to serve as interim superintendent. 4 days later, on January 29th, Newport News Public Schools confirmed Richneck Principal Brianna Foster Newton was reassigned within the district. And over the coming months, the students would return to the classrooms. The shooting investigation would be completed, and Abby Zwerner would issue her first statement and get ready to file a lawsuit. On April 3rd of 2023, Zwerner and her legal team would file $40 million in a lawsuit against Newport News school officials. The suit accused the school board and former administrators of gross negligence, claiming they ignored multiple warnings the day of the shooting. The lawsuit also notes the student who had shot Zwerner had a history of random violence. And the legal fallout only continued. On April 10th of 2023, a grand jury indicted the shooter's mother, Deja Taylor, on state charges of felony child neglect and reckless firearm storage. Prosecutors also requested a special grand jury to investigate school security issues. Taylor turned herself in on April 13th, and by June 5th, she faced federal charges for relying on a firearm purchase form regarding marijuana use, pleading guilty to those federal charges on June 12th and state charges on August 15th. Fast forward then to the next year. On March 11th of 2024, former Richneck Assistant Principal Ebony Parker was charged with 8 counts of child neglect. A special grand jury report revealed allegations claiming Parker ignored multiple warnings that the child had a gun on the day of the shooting and shut herself in the office after the gunfire started. Now, each count against Parker represents one of the 8 bullets found inside the handgun. And most recently, in November of 2025, a jury awarded the former Newport News teacher, Abby Zwerner, $10 million in her civil lawsuit. The civil trial centered on former assistant principal Ebony Parker, with Zwerner's attorneys arguing she showed total indifference to multiple warnings about a firearm. Defense attorneys countered that Parker exercised reasonable judgment, The jury ultimately sided with Zwerner. Newport News Public Schools rolled out major safety and upgrades following the January 6th shooting at Richneck Elementary. Those procedures the division rolled out and mandated then clear backpacks for all students from preschool through 12th grade, banning solid color bags. The school system also installed 30 weapon detection systems across high schools and middle schools. And on top of that, high schools in Newport News got new high-volume metal detection systems with walk-through scanners designed to screen large groups. Which brings us to the start of the criminal trial for former Richneck assistant principal Ebony Parker, which starts tomorrow. It was originally set for November 17th of 2025, but was continued to this month. The case is on the docket from May 18th through 21st, but proceedings could go even longer if needed. Court is expected to run daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And again, Parker faces 8 counts of felony child neglect. And as always, you can follow the trial live each day, every day from the courthouse. Just download the 13 News Now app to stay up to date on the latest developments.